For all the people in Pune, Bombay, Delhi and Gurgaon.
And Delhi.
Must try.
It's called a golden ale.
We shall.
Easy drinking, but it has the Indian twist. So quite proud of that.
Yeah,
and,
I can see it on your face.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I started by saying that it's the highlight of my life, not my career.
You were to choose 5 whiskies to pair with 5 styles of beer.
I would do a Pilsner Urquell. I'd put that with the easy drinking Glenlivet. I'd add a Rauch beer and I would bring in one of these Lagavulin.
Strongest Effingut that you have brewed in terms of ABV.
We do a legal around 8% with a big smiley.
And the beer is the Braggot style beer.
Braggot style.
Like if you're going on a first date, which beer would you order?
We don't like to give gyan. Not counting this podcast. And definitely not on a date, right? So I'd be drinking what my date is drinking, which will be mostly an easy drinking one.
Okay. If you're watching a World Cup final.
Ooh, depending on how...
Cricket final, let me put 7 hours, not football World Cup.
Dude, I want something strong there. I want to be drinking a Japanese rice lager or a boozy lager for sure. I want to be in all charged up there.
And a beer for a Monday morning at work.
Ooh, a nice English ale. 3.5-4% breakfast beer, easy drinking, low carbonation. It's more like malty water. Give me an English ale anytime, any day, especially Monday morning breakfast.
And for this episode of Sip by Sip, we have Manu Gulati, founder of Effingut, and we will explore his journey, his background, and how he fell in love with beer. But before we get started with this very interesting and special episode, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Manu Gulati is the founder and master brewer of Effingut Breweries, founded in Pune in 2014. And now, Manu, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience?
Cheers, buddy. First, let's have that sip.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure.
Pleasure.
Effingut.
Okay, so where do I start?
How did you, like, the journey of Effingut, how did you fall in love with beer? I know initially you hated beer, so...
Yeah, that'd be a good point to start.
Yeah, so just the whole Effingut journey, like how...
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna keep it as concise as possible because I can run away with it. So, like I said before, when we were chatting, born in a Punjabi family, grew up hating beer. First experience with my mama when I was all of whatever age of drinking, not legal. The first sip was that this is a horrendous drink.
Do you remember which beer it was by any chance? I remember the first beer that I had.
It'll be illegal to call it, but there used to be a beer called Negro, believe it or not. It came from Punjab. It had an African man, a well-built man on it. So I remember it so distinctly because I hated it so much. And standing there, and it said super strong. So the way they presented the super strong was this guy standing up. Anyway, I mean, just horrible, right? So grew up drinking like all Punjabis do, whiskey, black label in my case, and just that's it. End of story. Anybody offer me beer, I'd say no. Reason being, it tastes horrible. It's you feel bloated. It's not a nice feel, not a nice kick. Just not right. Not right for me at least, right? So that's how this thing was. I've been fortunate enough in my the way I'm bringing. I'm actually a 4th generation glass businessman. My forefathers were the first to have imported ainas. Earlier, the Maharajas did it from Belgium. So they started before partition.
So when you say glass, like mirrors?
So mirrors is where we started from, but sheet glass and processing of sheet glass. So the family had migrated from post-partition to Delhi. My father moved to Pune when I was only 10 years old. He was setting up a toughened glass, so it's for the windows, etc. Way back in Pune. So come from that background. And talking about alcohol, talking about business was not taboo in our family. We can't say we were encouraged, but we were never looked down upon because evenings were always, let's have that one drink. My father was more than happy to have, I had my first drink actually with my mama, but with my dad too, was quite all right in our family, right? But it was all concentrated around whiskey. Started my working career really young when I was almost all 14, 15. I would start going to my dad's factory. So I've grown up in a business atmosphere. Big dad and me being more friends, and uncles and all being more friends than really anyone. Started my journey at 20 years old. I had a publicly listed company, went on from there, many experiences in life. But then eventually, my father and the family decided to sell out to this multinational called Saint-Gobain, who had partnered with us, the French multinationals. And I always joke, and you'll hear it and read about it, that I retired at the ripe age of 27. So one of those fortunate ones. It gave me a lot of free will to chase my passions down.
Right.
Always towards the entrepreneurial side, but mostly led through passion. One of the shoes that I still wear today is of a real estate developer, but a real estate developer which again does passion projects. The last project that I completed is only 10 apartments in Pune. The lift will take your cars to your floor. There's a swimming pool 40 feet by 15 feet, swimming pool on every floor. Your toilet sizes are 14 by 16. There are only 10 apartments and stuff like that.
What is this real estate company called?
My company is called 5 Elements.
And this project, this fancy project in Pune?
It's in Sopanbag, and I've been really fortunate. So projects like that.
And do buyers get lifetime supply of Effingut?
They get Manu Gulati around there, bro. So they're there. But like real dear friends and stuff like that have also bought into it. But it's considered as one of the most luxurious projects of Pune. But that's what I like to do.
Okay.
But a businessman at heart with passion. So I always tell people, I said the work that I do is the passion to make a successful business precedes my passion to do stuff, right?
Right.
So the journey starts with the beer. We're sitting at a pub in the UK with a friend of mine who says beer tracker. It's real ale actually with the hand pumps.
Right, yeah.
The classic UK ones. I said तेरा दिमाग खराब हो गया. I said तो मेरे को UK में बुलाया हुआ है. हम लंदन में pub में बैठे हुए हैं. And for me that time was Scotch whiskey was at a height, right?
Yeah.
And I had literally reached a collector level of in my head. So I still have those bottles. I don't know what I've done with them, but they're lying somewhere. Numbered bottles, signed bottles, and the whole spiel, right? So he says, "Yeah, try it." And he insisted. I said, "Okay, I'll take a sip." And I still remember that the first sip was of a beer called the Village Elder. It was a classic English ale with infusion of, it was a golden ale infused with elderflower.
Okay.
Literally elderflower dumped into a beer.
Okay.
And I couldn't believe that was beer. I said, "Ye kya hai?" But the first sip that went in, the reaction was, "This is an effing good beer." And the mind went, okay, now we need to bring this to India. Why doesn't India have this beer? If this is what beer is, what has India been drinking, or what did I start my life with hating?
Sorry, which year was this?
Should be 2012, 13.
Okay.
12, 13 is roughly where it is. And that's where the curiosity kicked in, and the name of the brand, the Effingut beer.
Right.
And that's what we said, that's what we'll name our beer. And that's how my mind works. Clickety, click, 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 click. And that was it. And that one sip. And I said, okay, I need to know more about it. Of course, good old Google, which was just coming around at that time. Finding out what it is, discovered what craft beer is. I said, I need to know more. So I enrolled myself in a college, really.
Okay.
Brew labs in Sunderland, sleepy old town Sunderland of UK. And I spent 2.5 months.
Okay.
Drinking beer is what I will call it, but learning.
Okay.
Brewing. Not only learning brewing, but also the business aspect of it. Very convinced that this is what I want to get into. With the one part that India must experience what I have experienced in that first sip. From an extreme beer hater to a beer lover is where that journey led me within a span of 2 or 3 months, and I was really convinced that this is what we've got to do. So that's how we started. The first pub that we set up was in Pune, brew pub, because that's what was allowed. And we started the pub in 2013, but the brewing started on 9th of June 2014. And I can proudly say that we haven't looked back since then, and we're on that journey.
You had a listed company at the age of 19 or 20.
That's right.
How was that journey?
That journey was...
And it was again the same story, the glassware?
No. So I started when I was all of 17, 18. So education's around engineering,
Okay.
Mechanic production technology. So by the time I was almost all finishing that, not that my heart was into it, frankly, but it was one of those things that you had to do and get right. My cousin had started diversifying into Vanaspati. Vanaspati is a very unhealthy, but not at that time, right? I'm talking about 87, 88, 89 at that time. Dalda, yeah. So this was a knockoff of Dalda, literally. In the back of beyond of a UP village called Badaयूं, which was the lawless part of the country.
Okay.
Literally, you didn't travel late in the evenings because it was unsafe to do that, but that's where he set up. So I was sent by the patriarch of my family, my father's older brother, who took all the decisions for anybody, which was, okay, Manu Puttar has now done his education, so he will now go and learn the commercial aspect of it.
Okay.
So I was really young. My dad my dad, of course, I've lost him 15, 16 years ago, but had a friend who did edible oil trading. So after my college, my job was to go sit there at a wholesale oil distributor trader shop, sit on a little, take the tins of 15 kilo and make a seat out of it with a gaddi and sit there and learn the business. And then I was sent to Lucknow to actually learn the business. I sort of learned the business, but now I was in the sales part. And I came back after 2 years stint, or less than 2 years. I came back. I told my father, I started going to his glass factory. I told him, I said, I don't understand your business. I want to do this. And my father, really? But any which is, do what your heart desires. So, right at that time, I was sanctioned a sum of 1 crore in the year 89, 90 is like a huge money.
That was your first friends and family round.
Father round, purely father round. And but the unit needed 7 crores to set up.
Right. Okay.
So that entrepreneurial itch was always there. So how am I going to raise money? Got some partners in. Can you imagine a 20-year-old, 19, 20-year-old boy doing all this? But did that any which ways, and went to public, raised good capital. I think a few crores came from so a listed entity, and that business was like a wake up and welcome to the real world that was there. It was a large capacity, 200 tons per day. So you had 20 trucks that came in and 20 trucks that went out. You had export component because your de-oil cake was then exported. You had edible oil coming in, high value. The government started changing along their policies because oil prices in India were shooting up. So you weren't allowed to import oil, only the state trading corporation. Those were the license Raj days. A day they decided that they will put this under OGL, that's open general license. The prices crashed. I remember going to my warehouse, which is like acres of warehouse, and knowing that this stock that I'm holding is worth a few crores. By the end of the day, it was a very volatile business. I'd lost in stock value a crore a day. And then the duty got reduced and further reduced and further reduced. So by the end of 2 years of operating the business, I had lost my entire net worth, not mine, my father's entire net worth, of generational wealth that he had built up. We were in debt. Our homes, my father's homes, were mortgaged to the bank. The business was literally shutting down. And it was not a pretty situation to be in. I've written on one of my LinkedIn posts, and now that I'm going through it, it's all coming back in my head. It was the hardest. And for a young boy who's really starting up his life, that's where you've reached, and to come out of it was just horrible. So I remember this one day that my father, my partners, we were all sitting down together, and we were trying to figure out how this business we will be able to, recover, revive, and how we're going to get out to it. So there was a lot of brainstorming happening with elders. And I'm sitting there very quiet, guilty, because this entire Kida was mine to get here, get everybody into it. And then I said, no. So they all said, okay, we're going to borrow another 20 lakhs and we'll get the business going, we'll get back. And I remember saying no. I said, I have slogged my arse out for this business. I have stayed at the factory for weeks. I have traveled, I hope this podcast doesn't make it too long, but I have traveled myself to Latur, Parbhani, to buy the oil seed. At that time, computers were new. I had an Excel file at that time, Lotus 1 to 3, which I'm tracking every rupee that I'm spending. And I'm doing that. And I said, I still can't make money out of it. So I said, no, we will now work 3 times stronger to exit this business rather than coming. So can you imagine a 21-year-old boy with this collective strength in the family or sitting there and saying, I said, no, we will not. And fortunate enough that there was a family business that somebody really liked to get into it, because this had now from manufacturing had moved on to trading. People were importing steamer loads of kacha oil from Malaysia itself, refining it and selling it. It had gone to that league, which was out of our league. We couldn't reach that because this was mota paisa required. But they seemed interesting, and luck, you call it, or perseverance, or manifestation. There was somebody who was interested. I lost half the money, but I got the papers of my dad's home, all the money, and I took it back to him and I said, here you are, I apologize, but I'm back with you.
But I think that takes a lot of guts, like, more than guts, being very practical, because a lot of times people get so emotional about their idea, business, that they don't know when to cut out the losses, right? I think while as a business entrepreneur, you want to give it all, but there is a time where, like, you have to take that hard call where, okay, it's not working out. Is it worth my time to slog, and is it going to come that level? I think that was phenomenal for you at that age.
And I've mentioned that, right? So that year is the year I was getting married. I still remember this was 9th of June 2025 that I actually signed and got a check for whatever it was worth. And being a little dejected and being a little thing, because getting married, my father-in-law, literally no work. But of course, there was a safety net for me to go back to my father. Can't really say that I was down on the roads, would be unreal to say that. And feeling a little low and telling him the whole story, how I tried and I worked really hard. But I'm not too sure about your future with your daughter. And he told me this one word which has stuck around for me forever. And he says, Manu, a smart businessman is one who knows when to get in and most importantly, get out at the right time. So although all this happened being a young boy or whatever, and then learning by losing a lot of money, but also the passion stayed, but it was one of those ones that is actually correct. Although I may have taken a decision, probably in the right way, because that's where probably the upbringing in the business family brought in, or intuition, or understanding what it is. But that's true. That stayed with me. And for those reasons, I've been able to pivot when I know that this business may not be where it is going. And I have pivoted, right? So we went into real estate, we went into trading. My father and me were the largest traders of glass after we sold off a glass company. We would bring in container loads of glass. So all these blue, green, red building facades that you've seen Bangalore grow up. So we were the largest importers there.
Right, okay.
And we would supply all over India. And but again, I've pivoted out of that and then into the brewery business. But I understand that, passion is not all that you need. Hard work. Of course, you need your passion. Of course, you need hard work. You cannot do it without hard work. But having your wits around you and being aware of the business that you're building, and not falling in love with it in such a way that you really get sucked into it.
There's a saying that, right? He who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. There's no point in being a martyr, right?
No, some of the businesses I've seen that there's a future, but in some of the businesses, if I felt that there is a bigger future and worth much, it's worth investing my time into, then I've done that in my life. But that's how I've been brought up. And some people will say, born with a golden spoon in your mouth, this, that, and I can't really say. I've seen my father struggle. I've seen my family struggle. I have been through ups and downs in my life. But overall, God's been kind, and I've been able to do what I can. So I'm blessed in that way. But
good.
happy, touch wood. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
I was reading before, just preparing for this podcast with the, how do I say, godfather of craft beer.
No, grandfather of craft beer. That's how old I feel, boss. Yeah.
So if I look up numbers globally, like Mexico and South Africa, the per capita beer consumption is upwards of 70 liters.
Right.
Like even in Thailand, it's upwards of 30 liters. Philippines average is about 15 liters or so.
Yep.
We are like between 1.5 to 2 liters per capita.
I can't imagine we're more than that.
So, I mean, that was again as a business decision. Where did you see the opportunity? Because in terms of, and again, you are getting into an industry that is, back then craft beer was not known so much, right? So,
Correct.
So first, I had two questions. Why do you think India drinks so less beer compared to the rest of the world?
So I have a thesis around it, and that's mine own, and not really much research has gone into it, but here's where it comes from. Fermentation and alcohol is alien to India. Please understand what I'm saying. I'm happy to be proven wrong.
Okay.
The temperatures around India have never been conducive to alcohol. Can you point out a Indian alcohol that's been insisted, and I'll fight you and I'll say no, not a proper fermentation, because the weather in India is not conducive to fermentation. I've always, so our Vedas mention about Madira, which of course is mead. So there's a mention, and we've known that existed. So maybe thousands of years ago. Who knows if it's even older than the Sumerians that drank beer? But I can't figure out that with this weather and non-availability of brewers' yeast, where's the Indian classic alcohol? It's not there. You may have a mahua
or a toddy
or a
orak.
But is that really, is that thousands of years old like the beer would be? I really want to know where the toddy comes from, because it's just so hot, and it's bad fermentation also, right? It's not clean fermentation, right? So it could be some wild yeast doing it, some bacteria doing it, but it's not really alcohol that comes from. So India's alcohol journey, and then especially the beer journey, is very new. Brought in by probably the English when they started coming to India. But before that, where was the alcohol coming from? Is my question that comes through. It was bad fermentation. Barley is not a crop that beer has been made from in India, right? So barley flavor is alien. Hops flavor is super alien because you don't have hops in India, right? So we've been taught how to drink beer. Number one, that's my thesis, that this is a new, it's not. Even today, if somebody says, what's your craft beer? I say India loves wheat and India loves sweet. No wonder wheat beers sell the other beers, hoppy beers, a lot more. No wonder the ciders is a preferred flavor. That's number one. If anybody has any other thoughts or wants to, enlighten me, I'm happy to learn more.
They can add in the comments after the video.
Yeah, please do that. Please do that. So that's number one. Number two, per capita. Let's break down what we are targeting to. The per capita, so we may be 140 crore population, but where is the population? 80% of us is rural and a lot of it below poverty line, right? We are catering to the urban upwards mostly. The rest of the people, so here's also the number in India that comes in. When you say beer industry, please let's break down the beer industry. 80% of it today comes from the drink to get drunk chain. 8% alcohol. What are they drinking it for? They're drinking it for their fix of getting a buzz. In that much money, what can I get the maximum buzz from? And that's where the Indian alcohol market plus beer market in its majority sits. Costing rupees per ml of alcohol consumed is where it sits in. And then you're looking at a 20% leftover market, at least in the beer market, which is the 5% easy drinking market. So what we got to do is we got to break it down and say, is that person from that gaon literally drinking beer? Because the taxations of every state are different, and it's a common knowledge that beer per ml consumed is taxed stupidly. When I learned to brew in the UK, if you made a 3% alcohol, you paid 3% duty.
Okay.
If you made the same beer at 4%, you paid 4% duty. Here, you have a 5% duty and you have a 8% duty. Which in my state of Maharashtra also, if you compare per ml consumed, it's cheaper to consume whiskey, the local made whiskey from ENA, than it is to consume beer. Because eventually it's about the ml of alcohol that's going into your system.
Right.
So majority of India sits in the drink to get drunk at a cheaper price concept. So beer itself doesn't sit into that picture because it's cheaper to drink a desi daru, vodka, gin, whiskey.
Okay, fair.
Mostly that's where the problem is. Number one, so to sum it up, number one, beer is not an Indian flavor. We don't know barley, we don't know hops.
Right.
Secondly, it's more expensive to get a fix. So if anybody is drinking, then it's cheaper because of excise and taxation laws, which are wrong at all levels for beer. It's easier to drink
Whiskey or spirit. I mean,
that's my thesis.
No,
Guys,
but
again,
you know,
prove me wrong. Prove me
I
wrong.
get drunk.
Tell me where I'm wrong.
No, I'm not proving you wrong. I was just thinking, I get drunk faster on beer. I can sit through and have like 200 mLs of whiskey. I'll be absolutely fine. But I think a pint and a half is where I'm like, okay, I feel a buzz in my head. I don't know. For me, it's the beer that does it for me. So for me,
So again, I can fight you. I can go to that and somebody again prove me wrong on that one. It's a per ml alcohol that you're consuming. I have a different problem.
Got it.
I have a different problem that I, on any alcohol, will get a buzz till a couple of drinks and then I hit a plateau. I don't get drunker. I hit a plateau. Then I can sit you all night, drink. And there's a joke, right? So my wife enjoys a drink almost every day, but she wants a 15 ml fix. So gin or whatever that comes in. And for me, I don't drink because if I drink, I can't put my glass down. So the joke between my family is that within my girls, I said, between your need of your mother to drink every day and your father's capacity, your life is. But yeah, that's how it comes. Yeah, but yeah, for sure. Yeah, but that's my understanding of the beer market.
Right.
And therefore, to say that we have a 2 liter per capita would not be the correct one because 80% of the market is out of this per capita, right? And that's what most foreigners, when they look at India, they don't, the number is really large. Now, if you're going to break down still the 20% that is our target audience, it's still a very large number. It's still Europe equivalent, right? And that's where the consumption is growing. And for sure, you'll see this 2 liter going up because the 80% is keeping the per capita low. But if you bring it down to the 20%, which for me is the target audience of beer and craft beer, it's still a massive number.
Right, agree.
And I'll continue with the business aspect out of it. People are drinking lesser, but are drinking better. This is my thesis 10 years ago and my belief in the business, which is now showing true. People are drinking lesser, but drinking better. They are willing to pay a little premium. A little premium is the underline. When there's availability of a better drinking product. And I believe that craft beer, I believe then and I believe now, is here to stay. And the move from a premium beer, I'm saying the 5%, whoever is there is enjoying the craft beer way more. And that's where our TG literally sits. And premiumization, as I would have predicted, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but these are just the reads that I had at the time, 11, 12 years ago while I was setting up the business, that premiumization will happen. People, when have an availability of craft beer, will choose craft beer over the regular industrial lager that you get because it's choice, it's better drinking.
Right.
And that's exactly what's playing out currently in the country.
Right. Okay.
Not too complex?
Not at all. Not at all. Perfect.
So, there we are.
So before we dive deeper into more things on the business side, how would you describe beer in Hindi? Let's say if I were to describe beer to my grandmother who doesn't exist anymore, I mean, who's not alive, but I'm just trying to think out, like, if I have to describe beer, see, I struggle with my Hindi.
I don't.
I'm challenging a Punjabi.
Yeah, if I said it in Punjabi, I would add a little BC and MC, but let's not go there. But this is Jaw ka pani.
Okay.
Jaw, barley, ka pani.
Okay.
That's the way I would tell my grandmother that. There's a little sweet thing that I have to actually tell you. I got a post on social media, and that's what makes the whole journey when you're speaking about grandmothers and craft beer. So when we just started our growler stations at this one point, I got a post on Facebook with a young boy drinking with his grandmother, and she was enjoying the Hefeweizen.
Wow.
And they posted, and that grandmother looked something exactly like my grandmother. Of course, they know more, both of them, but I felt that very sweet. I was really so impressed that I actually sent more bottles to her and saying, you know,
Okay.
It just felt sweet.
Right,
When you said grandmother, it came through.
No, because
but
what you said, Jaw ka pani, because I remember, I think 2012. So, you know, I come from a family where, again, drinking was looked down upon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I grew up in Bihar, so again, and I remember 2012, there was a football, very important football match happening. And there is no way I can watch the game without some beer.
Without a beer.
Now, my parents were visiting me. I'm like, yaar, abhi kya karu? Kaise? I ordered Corona. Because I'm pretty sure whatever I order, Dad is going to ask what you're drinking. Corona doesn't look like a typical beer.
No.
Doesn't smell like a typical beer back in 2012.
No.
And then I knew he's going to ask. I said, ye kaun ka, whatever is the Hindi, iska bana hua hai. Bas aise hi hai. Managed to get my way through. So Corona helped me through that whole navigating drinking times when my parents were around.
Don't get the craft brewer churning up in me. Great respect to the brand where it's reached.
Yeah.
Why are beer bottles brown or green in color?
Very good question. I would love for you to give an answer, please.
Beer hates two things. It hates sunlight and it hates oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
Beer doesn't go bad. It's not going to make you sick. Bad beer is not going to make you sick because bacteria can't really survive in a finished beer. The pH levels are too low for that. The beer bottles are brown and green in color to keep the sunlight out. Otherwise, it's going to taste poor. It's going to get light struck.
Okay.
A brewer's nightmare. And now we have bottles which are white in color, and I'm not naming them. And I keep wondering, as a craft brewer, what have we done? So well done, science. And terrible move away from the craft beer or the beer DNA itself, that now the beer is not affected by white sunlight. Now the sunlight, you keep it out.
And Corona is transparent.
You're saying the name, I am not saying the name. And there are other white bottles that are there. So I'm just saying, well done, science. But what happened to the beer that now you have white bottle and beer doesn't go bad? I'm not ruining the experience for you. I'm just talking like a craft brewer.
Fair. I mean, that's the idea about this podcast as well, right?
And
people learn and discover something
craft
new.
brewers are like, if you're a craft brewer, the whole concept. So people keep asking me about. Sorry, I'm just taking this away back to my passion. Craft brewing. People have asked me this question, and I'm sure at a point you will ask me this question. What is craft brewing? It's a glorified way of showing my drinking hobby, of course.
I was going to ask what is craft. One of the most abused word in any industry today.
Like I say, I glorified my drinking hobby is now being put under a beautiful world of craft beer. But craft, as I call it, is going back to beer as it was supposed to be. The industrialization of beer has taken it so far away from what beer was supposed to be that in Maharashtra now, and every state has its policy, you need only 20% barley malt to call a beer, for it to sit in the category.
And the rest could be what? 80%?
Your guess is as good as mine. High fructose corn syrup is a cheaper form of alcohol. I mean, it's sugars.
I see. Okay.
ENA could be a part of it.
So, there is ENA that goes in beer as well?
I can't say what they do, right?
Interesting.
And that's what I'm saying, that beer has gone so far away. I'm not claiming that they do it, but I'm just saying that what's beer with 20% barley malt? What is the 80% is the question. Could be broken rice, could be corn, could be high fructose corn, could be ENA. I had a person reach out to me who was a trader in ENA, who said that I will supply you ENA while I was in this brewing industry, craft beer. And I couldn't understand that what am I going to do with ENA. And he couldn't understand that how am I making beer without ENA.
Okay.
So craft beer is going back to beer as it was supposed to be, like it's been done for thousands of years. Going back to the recipes, going back to the real ingredients, and giving the beer the love that it deserves. Limited use of pasteurization, trying to stay, guaranteeing to stay out of chemicals, stabilizers, brewing aids. Go back to where as it was. And that's the differentiator between the big macro beer to craft beer. Hundreds of years ago, beer has a limited shelf life. Like I said, it hates oxygen, it hates light, and it'll deteriorate in taste. It'll never make you sick. 10th century, it was safer to drink beer in London than water because the water was so badly contaminated. Even children, you call it beer, maybe having 0.5% alcohol or whatever, but it was safer to do that, right? So it doesn't make you sick, but the taste changes. So when you stamp about a 1-year expiry and then you run it through a non-cold chain and in white bottles, I can't imagine the amount of stabilizing that beer has gone through, right? And craft beer differentiator is, let's not do any of that. Let's just go back to beer as it was supposed to be. So if we'll make a beer like the Hefeweizen that I'm drinking, which, let me flex, has won Asia's best Hefe, I will go back to the water chemistry of the Black Forest.
Okay.
I will take the local water, I will strip it of all its minerals. We all know 95% of beer is water, right? And between Bombay, Pune, Delhi, the water taste changes because of the mineral content. So I will go back to that water and I will study originally what's happened to the water. So I will strip it off its minerals and then add back the required minerals as of the water table of the Black Forest area. I will bring in the malt from Bavaria that has been traditionally used. I will bring in the hops from Bavaria that have been traditionally used. I will study. I actually did a 2 days internship in the Black Forest area with a traditional Hefe brewer, and I learned the nuances of it. I will recreate that. I will bring the yeast from there. I will do the extraction the way it's been done for hundreds of years. I will do the fermentation the way it's been done to then eventually get a product which has the same banana, clove, a little bit of bubble gum, the same effervescence, and I will ensure that it's fresh. So it's about small batch making.
Right.
I won't dream of making 1 million hectoliters. I will dream of making 100 hectoliters. 10 today is what I make. And I'll say, okay, that's my 100 hectoliters. Why? I will make it fresh and I will ensure that it reaches my customer fresh in whatever way I can. If it's at the pub, if it's in a bottle, if it's in a keg or whatever. But I will ensure that I am not fucking around with the way the beers traditionally be made. And to me, that's craft beer. It could be different for different people, but for me, that's craft. And that's the craft part of it. Of course, I'll wake up in the morning and I feel like wearing blue jeans. But today I feel like doing something crafty with my beer making. What can I play around with? Oh, this is mango season. Alfonso will go with what? Okay, this is the base style that I could do. That's how I would infuse. That's the hops that I would want to use. This is the yeast I want to ferment with it. And now create a new beer, which we call Alfonso, and present that. Lodi's around the corner, what goes well, Jaggery goes well, it's no, so we will make something called a Effingut.
Okay.
We will use kokum, that's craft. So craft is going back to beer as it do, and then experimenting and using. I can't say that everybody's loved all the beers that we do, but we've enjoyed doing it, and that's craft.
Okay. Interesting. As long as you love what you're doing, and pretty much that's, I think, part of what we do. Not everything is a success, but we know where we want to be eventually is the end goal.
Yeah, so as long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing and my customers are coming back and saying, we agree.
Right, yeah.
There's no verbal communication for them, but the numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of course, there is a lot of verbal communication too, because I've been from 11 years, been on the floor, talking to customers. What is it that you like? What is it that you don't like? Pleasing people is definitely a part of it. But for me, a product is so pure that the product itself is. You don't get stuck with a green bottle industrial lager, which has a variation of corn or has a variation of rice, which I believe is a money-saving tactics, and now it's become a marketing. We make beer with rice, we make beer with corn. Hang on, guys, you're saving money because you're not putting in barley, but well done you. If your marketing or if your flavor gets better with you, pat on your back, good kudos on you. But you will make that with your rice for the rest of your life. You will make that with corn for the rest of your life.
Right.
Come to craft side, then I'm not forcing you to eat butter chicken if you want to eat chili chicken. Hefe is good for you, an IPA is good for you. Maybe you like a cider. Maybe you like a fruit-infused beer. Maybe you like an APA. Maybe you like a lager. Maybe you like my rice beer, which has got Indrayani, etc. So I'm giving you the choice in your hand for you to enjoy for your mood for that day and that hour. And that is craft.
So this is where I have my next question. You mentioned APA, IPA, lager. I think two broader styles of beer are ales and lagers.
Ales and lagers.
For all our audience and everyone around the world, please help us understand ale and lager in the simplest possible way with as many examples and preferably in Hindi, English, both if you could.
Okay, so let the brew gurus not beat me down for this one. So, जितना simplistically आपने बोला है, उतना समझा रहा हूँ. Okay. Two strains of yeast. Yeast is God's gift to mankind. Okay. God thought that we wanted alcohol. My belief. Don't know anybody come down.
Thank God for it.
Yeah, my belief. And yeah, for sure. Thank God for it. And God gave us this yeast, and then later on we discovered it. And then we sort of tamed it, which is not true, because yeast has got its own mind to do. Two sorts of yeast which is needed for any and every alcohol. Sugar, starches, yeast eats, multiplies, as a off byproduct, gives you alcohol and gives you carbon dioxide. Any alcohol is made like that. So is beer. The starches and the sugars, in this case in beer, comes from barley. In wine, it comes from grape. In any other thing, it comes from anywhere else. Tequila, agave, blah, blah, blah. Let's come back to beer. Two sorts of brewers' yeast that are great for making beer. Ale yeast, lager yeast. Two yeast. So therefore, the differentiator between ale and lager. जो ale yeast है, उसको swimming आती है. Like I said, let me dumb it down for easy understanding. Ale yeast knows how to swim. Lager yeast doesn't know how to swim. So the one yeast that is going to swim is going to stay on top. It is now open to oxygen and air pickup. I'm dumbing it down, right? So like I said, let the people not hold a whip and say, "Tu kya kar raha hai?" Because I'm making it just accessible to everybody. What's going to happen? So like I said, alcohol and CO2 are byproducts. Flavor compounds are also byproducts. Some nice and some not so nice. DMS, although of course doesn't come from oxygen, but this one, but diacetyl, like medicinal flavors, butter, butterscotch, vanilla. These are all flavor compounds which are part of the fermentation process. Right. The one that is swimming on top is getting air and sugars. So quickly it's eating up. Think of it like a room full of rabid dogs with a man inside, or the piranhas would attack a person. Think about it, that's quickly the fermentation happening. Very effervescent, it's getting hava, it's getting sugar, it's multiplying very quickly, is giving you a lot of flavor compounds. Some very good, like the Hefeweizen will give banana esters, will give you phenolics. Some horrible, mostly horrible, and some nice. So ale yeast quick fermenting yeast, stays on top, gives you a lot of flavor compounds.
Okay.
That's one. Lager, now imagine, it's sinking to the bottom. Doesn't know how to swim. It's gone, sank to the bottom. No supply of oxygen.
Yeah.
Lager, the word in German means to store.
Okay.
The word lager is equal to store. I like to call it store cold, but it's to store. Sits at the bottom, very slowly at lower temperatures is chomping away on the sugars available to it. Very slowly at low temperatures, no air, no quick fermentation, so it's clean fermentation. So towards the end of it, all you're getting, you do get flavor compounds, but any which is, diacetyl is a big part of it, but any which is mostly clean, slowly eating, slowly multiplying, clean fermentation. So the cleanliness of the flavors of malt, the sweet malt, the crispness of hops and crisp carbon dioxide. So a lager the characteristics of it is it's a slow fermenting beer, lesser flavor compounds, cleaner beers. Ales, quick fermenting, higher temperature, more flavors and off flavors. Could or could not mask the hops. You can't mask it is that hoppy flavor, but could end up masking the malt flavors.
Okay.
The other flavor compounds could outdo the malt clean. So that's ales and lagers.
So does it take longer to make a lager then?
It does.
What's like typical, let's say, batch differential between the...
Ale will finish fermentation in 3 odd days.
Okay.
Mostly. It could take 7 or 8 days.
Okay.
At the right temperature, at the right oxygen levels, blah, blah, blah. You're done in 3-4 days. Another 4-5 days of maturation, letting off the off flavors go. A lager will take, at the correct temperature, which is around 10 to 12 degrees, could take the same amount of sugars would get converted in 10 to 14 days. And then lagered for at least a month for all the diacetyl to go. Medsen, which is the Oktoberfest beer, traditional Oktoberfest beer, is called Medsen because it's made in March and lagered till September when it comes on tap. Not anymore. Now we have Fest beer, which gets done quicker, but that's lagering for you.
Merzen, you said.
Yeah.
Oh,
Medzen.
I used to call it M-A-R-Z-E-N, right?
Yeah, I could be pronouncing it. It's a German Medzen, Marzen.
Okay, understood. I could
whatever
be wrong
you call
as
it,
well.
I could be wrong. My half
M-A-R-Z.
German wife is gonna beat me.
Okay.
But that's the way I pronounce it. The other day she told me that it's Kulch, not Kulch. But anyway, it was wrong pronunciation. But basically means March.
Got it. Okay.
The word Marzen, Medzen the word is March.
Understood. Okay.
But on tap in September.
Okay. Got
So
it.
it's lagered
For
in
about,
underground caves in the
almost
Munich
6
area
months.
for that.
Interesting. Okay.
Right? So my trouble is that the new lagers and the pilsners that come on tap in the green bottle beers, I'm not too sure how quickly they are made. If they're going to lager them for 3, 4, 5 months, you know, if I make a craft lager, I'm saying 15 days for fermentation and another 45 days for maturation. So I'm looking at 2 months minimum for me to put the beer out.
Right.
If these guys were going to do those lagers for 2 months, they'll need a football size just fermentation to cover up. So I keep getting confused on how those are made. They may be made in the right way, but I'm not too sure.
Got it.
Because I haven't walked down that road and I don't want to.
Right. Then, but what are IPAs, stouts, or Hefeweizens, or like, you know, Irish ales or red ales? What are those?
So this is the main classification. You have the ales and you have the lagers. So they'll both fall into that category. Beers are named mostly after their cities, like a lager, Pilsen, Pilsner, which I believe is the world's tastiest beer and the best one, which the macro lagers have tried to recreate. Comes from the city of Pilsen, hence Pilsner.
Okay.
Right? Then you have Bamberg lagers, you have Bohemian lagers because they come from the Bohemia part, which is Germany and Czech Republic border territory. So that's how they get named in the lagers category. mostly from their origin is where they take up. Now come to ales, and the ales get broken up into wheat ales. So never will you have 100% wheat malt into it.
Okay.
Like we said, malt can be mainly of barley,
Right.
but you do get rye and you do get wheat also, right? So wheat beers will be that. So those are ales which will have, so you'll have the Belgian style wheat beer, which is Belwit. Then you have the German style wheat beer, which is called the Hefeweizen. Then you have an American style wheat. So that'll get categorized into those ones.
Sorry, so what was the difference between the Belgian style and the German style? German style is called Hefeweizen.
The German style is called Hefeweizen, which I am having. Okay. You're having a Belgian wit. So with the fermentation process and the yeast characters, while it ferments, German wheat will give you banana.
Okay.
We don't add, it comes in. With the right quantities, right processes, it'll give you banana, it'll give you clove, and a little hint of bubblegum. The Belgian style uses the Belgian yeast, which we brewers like to call a Belgian funk. It's a little sourish, a little sharpish, can't call it sour, but it's a funky flavor that comes into it, which is akin to citrus.
Okay.
So the Belgians would then enhance the funk by adding Belgian orange zest, the peel of it, which even today we do. We import our dried Belgian orange peel and we put it into a beer.
Wow.
And then you'll add a little bit of dhania seed to crunch up the flavor there.
Okay.
Difference being that mainly, but a Hefeweizen is made out of wheat malt, a Belgian wheat is made out of pure wheat. But barley is always a part of it because the wheat malt doesn't have any diastatic compounds which will help in fermentation. Blah, blah, blah. Don't want to get technical.
Okay. Got
so
it.
that's the wheat part of it. Then you come to the ales, which are traditional English styles because that's how they have brewed for years and centuries, and even to today they do. Cask ales is what they do. Very easy made beers, mainly barley, a little hops. The English like to use caramel in their, caramel is also again not an addition in craft beer. It's the way you actually roast your barley.
Okay.
It's like bread, right? So if you're toasting your bread, you have a white bread which tastes different. But if you heat it, it gets brown, so it adds a little caramel compound. And if you burn it, it adds that toasty flavor, the black burnt one. Exactly that for the malt. So British brews will be mostly ales with caramel, use of caramel in it. The stouts use roasted barley or toasted barley that gives you that black burnt flavor because it's the same sugars that have now caramelized or roasted over.
Okay.
So that's a range. So they're called pale ales mostly. So they go from clear to caramel. That's the range that they play. So they fit into pale because of their color and ale because of their ale being an ale.
Right.
The Americans have taken that forward and have created American pale ales. American pale ales are called so because of the hops that the Americans have bred over the years.
There's a conversation around beer. It's incomplete without hops. So what is a hop?
Do you drink ruafza?
Used to, not anymore.
Can you drink 10 glasses of this one? No, because it's sickeningly sweet, number one. So there's always even if you make your butter chicken or whatever, and again, this is my layman introduction to hops. So even in butter chicken, it's not one-sided. There's some sourness of tomato, there's some buttery, there's salt, there's all that. Life is all about balance. Wort, when we extract out of barley, is sickeningly sweet because that's what it is. It's sugar. We're going to ferment it. So you need a balancing. So what balances sweet is bitter.
Okay.
So number one, hops is a balancer to provide a overall balanced setup. Before they discovered hops, which I will tell you what they are, they would add spices to balance their beers. Now hops are actually a vine that grows in the wild in that belt of UK, Germany, etc. in the cold climate. It's just a wild plant that grows. It's the flower of that vine.
Okay.
Not a pretty looking flower. It's green in color, but if you ask a brewer, you say that's the most beautiful sight. But it's the flower of that color which somebody for some reason ate, and it's the bitter part of it. So they said, why don't we balance our beer with this bitterness instead? So that's where it went to as a bittering agent to bring balance into a sweet tasting beer. But what the hops did was, it turned out to be an antimicrobial part too. So what hops did was, it extended the shelf life of the beer and it stopped it from going bad quickly. Now hops are flowers. So what do flowers have? They have aroma. So do these hops have aroma. Over the years, breeders of hops or growers of hops then started experimenting and then said, okay, this hop has a variety which has got floral. Let us try and see how we can crossbreed and get more floral. So then you get floral hops where, number one, the bittering aspect is there, but you get aromas which are floral. Then piney, it's like pine, so they developed to piney. Then citrus, so citrusy. With the result, now you have hop growers across the world which now keep experimenting and growing. Every year there are at least 3 or 4 I know of, or could be more, hops get introduced.
Got it. Okay.
So that's what hops is.
Right. So now coming back to the American Pale Ale.
So the American Pale Ale. The Americans have bred their and grown their hops to be large part bittering, but very citrusy. So the American Pale Ales are a normal pale ale that's been made in a traditional style, but added with American hops.
Okay.
Mostly citrusy, right?
Okay.
So this is the pale ale. This covers the pale ale part of it.
What is IPA, Indian Pale Ale?
Now let's go to the IPA level. IPA has a story that is related to India.
Which I'm sure everyone would love to know.
Yeah, would love to know and would also know. So while the British were placed into India, it was a tough job for them. It was hot, blah blah blah. So people didn't really want posting in India. They came in for the money, of course. But like, even if I was setting up a Effingut in Jhumri Talaiya, my Bombay guy is not going to go there, right?
Yeah.
No offense, Jhumri Talaiya. But he would not want to go there. How am I going to send it to him? I'm going to throw him a lot of money, and I'm going to throw him aspects. You've come from the UK, you've come from England, Scotland, wherever. You've grown up drinking beer because as a child you've been drinking beer. Now that beer is not available in India, like I said at the beginning, India is not a alcohol naturally growing sort of a country. So you need beer. So one of the perks that they would do is, let's get beer. As I said, beer has no shelf life. It hates oxygen, it hates sunlight. The journey of beer, when it would get shipped from Brunton, they get that right. So from the coast to here, would go up and down the equator twice, and it would take 2 months for the beer to come here. Hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. The beer, by the time it was reaching here, was bad. It had gone bad because of sunstruck, oxygen, or whatever. The only known part that could extend a shelf life at that time was hops. So what they did was, they started adding more hops. By adding more hops, it became one directional rather than a balanced ale. So it became more hoppy. You would like to call it bitter, but a brewer would never say that, would call it more hoppy.
Okay.
But along with the hoppy came the other aromas, because that's what hops do. They provide aroma apart from bitterness and stabilization of the beer. So to balance that, they increased the malt content. So they increased the sweetness to match the bitterness. With more malt became more boozy, because you have more malt sugars, blah, blah, blah. So what happened with this beer was that it became a highly malty, highly hoppy, and a highly alcohol beer, because just that, and then found the balance. So the pale ale that got shipped to India was called India, not Indian, like a lot of my friends mistake. It's not Indian. It's India Pale Ale. Now, when mass manufacture, production of beer died, and then people wanted to get into cheaper and cheaper substitutes like the macro lager came in. One of the styles that disappeared from the world was an IPA because it was an expensive beer to make.
Okay.
Highly malty, highly hoppy, highly boozy, but really flavorful, right? The whole craft beer revolution, which I believe started somewhere in 1985, with brewers going back to old ancient recipes. One of the beer that came to life and which is now the lead of craft beer revolution is the India Pale Ale. Traditional English India Pale Ale, we love to make it. It's more like a brown ale, highly caramelized, more hops. English hops are not so citrusy, etc. The Americans took the American citrus hops. They added Cascade, Chinook, Citra, etc., etc. So it became a very flavorful, aromatic beer. Not a palate for all. It could make or break your journey to an IPA. I make an IPA for myself because I enjoy it, but I don't make it for the masses. But the IPA can be made in many ways. There is a New England IPA, which is a hazy IPA, which we have on tap. It's extracting the fruity compounds from the hops rather than the bitterness. So that's a hazy IPA. There's a milkshake IPA. There's an English IPA, and it's endless.
So IPA basically hoppy, more malty, and usually higher alcohol content?
Would be, na? You're using a
Right.
lot more malt
Yeah.
to balance it off, so you'll get a higher alcohol percentage.
Got it, okay.
To say if that's the rule, thumb of rule, no, because that's craft beer, there's a lot of variation.
Right.
But as a normal, so you're going to get a lot of fruity flavors. I remember as a child eating flowers, right, which we even today, gulkand is made out of rose, so this is a flower. So you get a lot of fruity. You could get melon, you could get spicy, hops, the way you use it. You get aromatic. So it's a very robust beer IPA.
Got it.
Higher malt, higher alcohol, higher hops, higher fruitiness, higher nose.
Got it. Right.
And endless experimentation.
Great. Thank you. That was a very, I think, exhaustive but very enlightening description of IPA, because I think that's one category, right, where there is, again, IPA, as you mentioned, as a category has been revived thanks to the whole craft brewing revolution, and there is so much experimentation, I think, that happens within the IPA segment itself. So,
Yeah.
now, okay, another thing that is very, I think it is very peculiar to India. I could be wrong. What is a strong beer?
Not the first vision that I have of my strong man. This strong beer concept has been developed by the excise laws. Strong beer would normally mean a higher alcohol percentage. Most of the states, so India is not India, we are 28 states plus union territories, or is it 29? Sorry. And you have the union territories. So every state, it's a state law. Most of it led from 70 years ago, 80 years ago. So they said that there are two categorizations. One is for pleasure drinking and one is for drink to get drunk. So they knocked it off at 5%. Anything below 5% is a beer, regular beer.
Yeah.
And anything above 5 to 8 is a strong beer. Although beers we can make up to 16%. The strongest beer is 64%, and I don't know why they would do it. But anyway, craft brewers are pat on your back. But 5 to 8% category is now what is termed as strong beer, because the alcohol level is higher than 5%. Now, when the big beers make it, then they say, then why make a 5.5%, because we're going to pay a higher duty structure. So they all make it to the top level of 8%.
Okay.
So that's the differentiator between a strong and a mild beer.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. How would you put your Effingut journey in numbers? And when I say numbers, like how many outlets right now, how many liters of beer you have brewed, how many, if you can, like, how many sort of, how many styles of beer you've brewed. So just like, your Effingut, like, it's about 11-year-old journey now?
Yes.
So if you have to put that in numbers.
Yeah, it's been a beautiful journey with its ups and downs. We started 2014 with the one pub in Pune in Koregaon Park. It's government policies that actually really dictate your growth. Maharashtra has been very, very, very conducive and understands the growth of craft beer. Currently, I think almost 30% of all beer sold in the developed world is craft. And in India, I can't even count if it's a 0.5% or a 1%. So we've got a lot of delta to grow up to. It depends on the policy makers of that state, because this is a state subject, who want to back or not back the craft beer culture. Maharashtra, fortunately, is one of those states that hears us, very progressive, because they understand that this is for not the masses, can't really call it for the classes, but it is a pleasure drinking substance. It's not a drink to get drunk setup. So Maharashtra then, at that point, within the few craft brewers that we were, followed up with the government, they allowed us to keg. So that means that now we didn't have to brew and consume on site. Some states, even till today, 15 years into the craft beer journey, don't understand it. They still push to brew and consume on site. So we then could keg. So we thought it was nicer to open up tap rooms, the same brewery now shipping out. So before the pandemic, from the journey of 2014 to 2020, we were 7 pubs in all.
Okay.
1 brewery holding 7 tap rooms, 6 tap rooms along with the brew pub.
And where were these 7?
It was, expansion was within Bombay and Pune.
Okay.
3 in Pune, 3 in Bombay, and 1 in Kolhapur is what we had started, but that's where the journey was.
Is the Kolhapur one still there?
The Kolhapur is still operational. It's not ours, but we've tied up with Sayaji. It's their investment, but the beers are ours.
Got it, okay.
So
Sayaji, that hotel?
Sayaji, the hotel. So you have a pub which is based on
So you can have the mutton and...
Yum. I must go back again.
Yeah.
So, but the pandemic was not nice. It broke our backs. From 7, we contracted down to 2.
Okay.
But the pandemic changed things around. Again, kudos to the Maharashtra government and my little association that we have of all craft brewers, all passionate guys. So kudos to this little association that we have of craft brewers, all very passionate guys. We all said, I've been a part with this policy changed quite a bit. I've been involved in quite a few states with the policy because, like I said, godfather to grandfather feeling. The Maharashtra government, we went to saying, we are dead. We have no avenues to sell it. We're not coming to you begging for money to support us. We have this 100,000 liters of beer lying ready. You change the policy a little and we'll give you more revenue. And that was brilliant because we had this policy change done on Zoom calls.
Wow.
And the government agreed within a month of the pandemic. They had changed the policy where we were allowed to growler fill our beers. Within a month of the pandemic first level, we got this permission that you can now retail your craft beer, fill it up in these refillable growler containers, could be anything that holds the carbonation well. They also allowed us home delivery at that time, and that opened up an avenue of growler stations. So now from a pub experience, we now walked into a home experience, at-home experience, and that was driven at the... So Effingut took that lead and we actually opened 9 growler stations operational even today. These are, I call growler stations as ice cream parlors for beer.
Okay.
It's just that experience. You have 16 taps at all Effingut. You'll come in or we'll give it to you for takeaway. We'll fill in the beer in a refillable container, which we say will last you a lifetime as far as it's stored cold and kept carbonated, as with this one. But of course, we say use it in 7 days because that's a part of it, fresh beer. So the growler station then pushed the Effingut journey quicker. We did lose a lot of money and a lot of people during that pandemic. It was a harrowing time. I can't even go back to it. But at that time, Delhi policy was also coming around. So at the pandemic time, we had also said, now we have a solid hold, but we should start our journey. So we went to Calcutta. But during the pandemic, we also got stuck with Calcutta because the place was getting ready. Losses mounted. Delhi had opened up with their new policy, proposed policy, which was very interesting. It said growlers, packaging, brewing, all that coming up. So we then started expanding into these areas. Calcutta did not work out for us, mostly because we got stuck during the pandemic very badly. We opened up when the second wave had just come in, but we opened just a month before the third wave. We had to shut it down. Policy decisions were changing. We didn't get our brewing, so we had to then pull back out of Calcutta. And then we moved that to Gurgaon, which is now operation for this one. So to give you an answer, Effingut now has 9 growler stations, 7 pubs, the 7th pub just opening up, and we have also 2 bistros. So 17 plus 1, 18 in all is what we are currently at. So we're operating breweries in Pune, one of which is ours. In Delhi and Gurgaon, we have breweries. But in Maharashtra, we've also taken on capacities from 3 other breweries that we are operating out of. But this journey was beautiful because Maharashtra government eventually also understood that this retail is doing better, and they saw no harm in allowing us to small pack. So it's been about a year that we launched Effingut in cans and stubbies across 4 staple beers and ciders. And we do a seasonal, like the mango came in, the fest beer has just come on. And now, you know, supported with all the love that we've got from all our consumers, and thank you for that, we are now setting up one of the largest craft breweries, but it's still a microbrewery in India that should be going live anytime soon now.
And where is this coming up?
This is coming up in Pune, about 20 odd kilometers from where we are. It is under construction as we speak. So December is the date, but as things get delayed, they get delayed.
We look forward to the launch of that.
I look forward to it. Thank you so much.
So how many cities are you, which all cities are you present in?
So we are also available in Nagpur, we are available in Nasik, we are available in Kolhapur. But these are not ours. These are tie-ups where we supply our beers
outside
to.
Maharashtra?
So we've got Pune, we've got Bombay, multiple outlets. We are in Gurgaon and we are in Delhi.
So
Calcutta, we had to come back.
So outside Maharashtra, it's Gurgaon.
Gurgaon and Delhi.
So let's say Maharashtra is a different excise, Delhi is a different state, Gurgaon is a different state, right? So any one thing peculiar about each of these states that you've noticed in terms of beer consumption or something that was, see again, India, even purely as excise standpoint, it's a 29 different market, right?
Yes.
But even consumers, we have like such diverse palette from now north to south, east to west. So anything that you would have picked up, let's say something that works in Maharashtra, doesn't work in Delhi, doesn't work in Gurgaon, even though like just the borders are very 20 kilometers.
No, so even the Effingut food is catering to the local palate. So I'll give you an idea that in Pune we had 3 pubs now. We have 2 bistros and a pub. Even if it's Pune, the locality, the taste palette's different. So if a butter chicken is made in such a way and I go back to butter chicken Punjabi, can't help it. But if the butter chicken is made this way in the Koregaon Park, it's made differently in that other pub. Not differently, it's just the final finishing that gets done. And we've always gone to cater to the local consumer. Fortunately for us in craft brewing is that we can experiment. In Pune, we can't because we've had capacity that we are. So I'm looking forward to the big breweries so we can go back to brewing in experimentation. But the overarching part that we have seen that India loves sweet and India loves wheat. And that's where our focus is. We will do, like when we started Kolkata, we had local ingredients is something that we will always use. We made a Belwit in Kolkata with Gondoraj lime. So we went local to that flavor. When Delhi season, the falsa, I don't know if it's a fruit that you know, it's a very small soury berry that comes only for a very specific time. So then we made a falsa sour. Pune kokum is a fruit that comes in, so we do a kokum beer or cider. Mangoes, all local that comes in. But that's the beauty about craft beer, right? So, and we're always tracking because we want to make it fresh and it has to be there. we're seeing how the consumption's going. So we're pushing towards. I've always told my team, I said, flow with the river, don't swim against it. It's easier to swim with the river. Give the customer what he wants rather than forcing him what he doesn't want.
Fair.
Right? Yeah.
Fair. So, also, so how big is Effingut as a brand, like in terms of, let's say, across 19 even?
Yeah, 16, 17, counting. Yeah, we're just going, yeah.
What would be the size in terms of numbers, like, let's say broadly? How
So
big is the?
we've this year, the journey's been great till the pandemic. We had to literally reset. Like I said, from 7 we downsized down to 2, and those 2-3 years of the pandemic were horrible. And then we started our journey back again. So really, from 2 to this number of 17 that we're counting today, it's been a last 3 years journey. And we've been literally doubling our top line, almost all doubling, 60-70% growth every year. This year we should do a top line of about 84-85 crores.
Okay.
But we're on our way to, because now we're available in all formats. We're available in 360 retail chains in our cans and our stubbies, but we're limited by production capacities, so we're waiting for the new brewery to come live. But yeah, we're hoping that within the next 3 years we take this to a 250 crore top line.
Okay.
And I've always said profitably. I hate losing money.
Right.
There's no dhanda that I understand that we will lose money today and we will make money tomorrow. I don't understand. We've been pushing to do what we do profitably and not on the we will acquire a customer, not Effingut's journey.
Fair. Makes sense. So then let's say 250 crore is what you're aspiring to achieve in 3 years?
3 years from today.
So what would be the size of the craft beer industry, the space in which you are operating in?
So the craft beer industry, let's break it down. It's even today an F&B business. There are very few to no organized craft beer chains. They are very hyper-local. Bangalore's the mecca capital of craft beer, undoubtedly.
Why? I mean, why? That was one of the questions for later, but you brought up Bangalore. Like, I think I was reading a number. It's, I think, about Bangalore is home to about 86 of the 600 microbreweries.
92.
So,
92, as we speak.
So, like,
if we speak in 5 minutes, it'll become 93.
Why? Why Bangalore? I have nothing against it, I mean, but I'm just curious. Like, again, one city is dominating disproportionately in craft beers.
My Bangalore friends are going to beat me up for it, but before we come to my thesis on why Bangalore is the mecca of craft beer, I think Pune, Maharashtra, has got a better craft beer scene. Bangalore has got the consumers. And
I agree.
They're drinking. And they're drinking a lot. And every craft brewing is doing well. We see numbers and we can only dream about those numbers coming from Pune. But here's the number that I say, and guys, Bangalore, peace, Pune, well done. But here's where I see the difference. When you go to Bangalore with the 92 craft breweries, a brewer or a beer drinker will count 5 breweries that he would want to go to for experimentation and great beer. 5, 10, whatever the number is. But for the 80s are those same ones who make those 4 beers. They make a green, they make a brown, they make a purple, they make a mystery. And that's what they are at. So do I count them, and that's your answer to your craft beer scene. Do I count them as craft beer? I can't say. There are many pubs that I've been to and I'm sorry about it. Gurgaon especially, and the whole thought about Gurgaon was coming to that. I would ask for a green bottle macro than drink a beer made at the brewery there.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not being
no. I live in Gurgaon. I think the craft beer scene is very sad.
A lot of it in Bangalore is also there.
Yeah,
right?
like even I remember last weekend. So even when you have to go to Bangalore, right? I mean, hats off. What comes to your mind, top of the mind? Toit?
Yeah, no, there's Arbors doing good work,
But-
there's Windmills that's doing good work.
Yeah, again, but-
Choit, of course, like I said,
But
but
then-
I can't count beyond my palm.
Exactly.
I
Yeah. So
can't
those
count.
3, 4, and then that's it. That's where the whole thing ends.
That's what I said.
So okay, let's put aside.
Sorry,
I'm just,
but I'm going to bring you back to Pune.
Yeah,
Let me-
yeah.
Before the
Yeah.
thought chain breaks. Sorry about that.
yeah, no worries.
Puna's problem in the last 12 or 13 years has been that it's not a huge consumer market. Puna's craft beer scene is run by brewers themselves. Either they were home brewers or they were involved with it. They are the people who have got into the business. I can name Dulali. Independence at a time was run by a brewer. Manu Gulati ran Effingut. The others who weren't brewers didn't succeed. All the people who are there, Great State, Kimaya, and I can count number of ones. Look at the Bombay ones, right? You've got Two Down going, you've got Rolling Mill going. These are all brewer-led. The brewer-led, because we didn't have a massive demand, we had the capacity and the willpower and the knowledge to do more. Effingut has counted beyond 250 styles that we've done.
Wow.
I can guarantee and I can challenge anybody in the brewing industry if they can beat the number of styles that Effingut has launched into the market. Every month there's a new brewer. It continues today. Call it a new style, call it an experiment, call it whether it worked or it didn't work, it's been on tap. And Pune has that. Pune has the quality and Bangalore has the quantity, and I have respect for both places. Now Pune is also catching up to the quantities that's coming up. But sorry about breaking your
No.
chain,
So I
but
was
had to
just
finish.
so again. So you're saying Bangalore because of sheer number,
Yeah. So
but then what was that like?
reason.
Like suddenly when you even now, right, when you think of Bangalore, what comes to your mind?
Beer.
Beer. So where was that cultural, like that association with Bangalore and beer built? I'm just or just happened?
No, I have another thesis.
Okay.
For this.
Okay.
And it's not based on any study. It's based on what I believe. Vijay Mallya, thank you. Right? For beer. India is not a beer drinking country. Vijay Mallya introduced premiumization in the way he did, him being the brand ambassador or whatever. I believe alcohol is a very, I call alcohol a commodity. And then in that comes premiumization, and that's where profit comes in. That's my understanding of the business. A beer is a beer is a beer is a beer. How you present it differently is where you come in. So Vijay Mallya, whenever he did join, he then brought beer into the mainstream of drinking, which never really existed, and premiumization of that. He launched, I remember traveling from Pune in my younger days to Bangalore, to those pubs that had started, Black Cadillac, 10 Downing Street, etc., during that time, just to experience a draft beer.
No, okay.
Kegs. My thesis, nobody beat me down, and if you think differently, please comment. The parents of that time, my age, broke the taboo of drinking. It was all right to go to a pub and catch up for a drink. Karnataka has been an area where alcohol hasn't been a taboo, it's been around. It's an open thing to discuss. Parents like me of my age who experienced the first draft, which was like a revelation, because when you went from the bottled stuff to a kegged beer, which was fresh, it was a different taste changer. We people who experienced that so many years ago have now got children or the next generation that's come through. They've seen us growing that it's all right to be at a pub, to be consuming beer. For that reason, beer's capital overall is Bangalore or Karnataka.
Okay.
Now I'll come to the craft beer. Again, my thoughts and my thinking that comes through. Bangalore, I have seen it grow because I used to be supplying the facade glasses at that time, right? Across the country, Bangalore was my biggest market, and I would go there when these buildings were getting made. And I would be shocked, why are these buildings getting made? Because that IT culture started from Bangalore years ago. That exposure, all the IT guys there have had to America, have either traveled or have heard about it or have experienced it. So it was an automatic thing for them to have known about craft beer. So they already know about beer. Now they know about craft beer from the Americas, and now that's locally available to them.
Okay.
And that's where it went to.
Got it.
And that's why I believe that Bangalore is winning in craft beer.
Okay.
Also, the same duplication I can call Gurgaon to be, because that's also again IT related. There's a lot of exposure. But somehow the breweries didn't really take that to a center stage and say, let's make great craft beer.
Got it. Okay.
Nobody shoot me down.
Like, how difficult or how was it to convince whiskey drinkers or rum drinkers to sort of try, if not craft, an experimental beer, a beer that is not made in bulk?
The pub that I had opened Effingut, the first one, used to be a brand called Kiva. It used to be a club, nightclub,
Okay.
lounge bar, as it was called 20 years ago, right? And when we moved from Kiva to Effingut, we got the same client who would come in, who would then want his whiskey, because it was a, a classy setup. APCs were high, spending quantities were high. I remember making my first beer and saying, try a beer. First reaction was, beer, what the hell is wrong with you? Give me a whiskey. Classic reaction that I had at my London pub. What the hell is wrong with you? Give me my whiskey. I remember going with pictures on every table. First brewing the beer, going on every table and saying, try it from me. Compliments from me. First month, 500 liters of beer I poured. 480 I gave free. I charged 20 liters.
Very generous.
They refused beer. I have had people coming in saying, give me a commercial beer. And I have gone to that person and saying, sorry, I don't sell P star S. I've gone there and I've said, try karo. Nahi pasand aayega, I'll get you your whiskey. It's on me any which ways. And Effingut's journey has just been that. And I believe so the craft beer journey just been that. We are led by the product. We are not led by anything. We don't have the marketing budgets that all the big boys have. We've seen what's happening with, there's a graveyard of beer brands there. So many people having tried. Effingut's been very, very stable and convinced. No amount of marketing can really win you the business unless and until there's experimentation by hand to mouth. So Effingut's grown on this journey, and clearly that yes, there's a whiskey market, yes, there is this one, but there is a beer market. The beer market itself, the world beer market is now stagnating or heading downwards. The CAGR world over maybe 2%, 3%. Could be wrong, but that's where it is. But there is this India market that is on fire. The beer market here, because people are drinking easier. It's a more conversation, you and me having a chat, having a beer. It's about that. It's not about drinking to get drunk. And people are enjoying it. However, watching a cricket match, watching a football match, two friends chatting over, going for a picnic, let's get a beer. So what we are going to do is that we're going to introduce beer only through experience is our motto. I call my pubs a showroom. You come in, 16 taps, enjoy what you want. I will chase it down with a bistro. I will chase it down with a growler shop. And then I will chase it down with a bottle or a stubby.
Got it.
The product has to win. You can't fight the product.
So for you, it was the product that did all the
Product.
talking and the marketing for you. Got it.
Only the product. We brought in people from what we call the Effingut experience.
Right. Yeah.
You came for the food, you came for the vibe. You're happy to dance after 10 o'clock. Who am I to dictate after 10 o'clock what you want to do? You don't want to have a beer, you want to move to a whiskey, you're happy here. But crowd comes back and again and consumes me at home because of the product, not because of the brand.
Got it.
We are known for the product. Right. And that's how craft beer has been the world over. Patience, perseverance, and the main line that I keep telling this thing, be Punjabi to your customer, treat him well, and stay true to your product. Do not take the shortcut, stay true to your product.
Got it. Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. So, also, I think you touched briefly. So, how do you view the dominance of big players in India? A dominance of big players in India, such as let's say they have the Kingfishers of the world, you have the Heinekens of the world, versus let's not call craft beers, but experimental brewers or beer makers. How do you see this experimental stroke craft beer standing up to the big boys?
Oh, well, I think craft beer revolution started in 1985. India has been 10 years old in a very restricted manner. I call it the hockey stick curve right now. We've been flatlining and now we are on that inflection point.
Okay.
You can't beat the product. You have to go back to beer as it was supposed to be. You may add your experimental. So we've seen beers that get launched in India, and I've seen a label which says based on the Hefeweizen of Germany, added flavors of banana and added flavors of clove. Put that together with a freshly brewed Hefeweizen, the Hefeweizen's gonna win. Going back to this journey has been on since 1985. You've seen the inroads that craft beer has made the world over. Today, 30% of all beer sold is craft in the developed world. That's the growth. People are drinking lesser but better. People are reading the labels of what they are consuming. People are happier with experiences of what they are drinking. They are willing to pay more for the product. And that's the growth of craft beer, which I say is just about starting in India. We are at the inflection point. From here, I believe we're going to be all up. Is that the answer that you were looking for?
Okay. Yeah. So also, there was another report that I had just come across where it said so it will have 5,000 by 2033. So almost 8 years from now, India will have 5,000 microbreweries, and the size of the market would have grown to $33 billion.
$33 billion?
Yeah, from which is currently at 4.7 billion. It was the number was quoted in a leading newspaper, so hence that's where I picked up from.
I take the 5,000 breweries as a given.
Okay.
I'll take the 5,000 breweries as a given. Every state is understanding what microbreweries are. They call it microbreweries. They're microbreweries because it's made in a way. We call it craft beer. It's a differentiator. Yeah. Whether all of them will make that quality beer that you really want for the product to grow is the only question that I have in my mind for the growth of the segment. There are shortcuts that we Indians are known to take. How many of them will take the shortcut and will call it fresh brewed beer, Belgium style beer, and not ruin the market is the only trouble I have fighting at the back of my head. People who are stuck to it, so whether it will be a $33 billion market or it will not, I have a very clear understanding that 30% of all beer sold in India in 10 years from today will be craft.
Okay. So,
or premium.
Okay. So, what does it mean for, let's say 30% of all beer sold would be premium. What does it mean for existing players, people who are looking to become brewers, and also, let's say, potential investors? Because again, I don't think there are there are people who want to enter F&B, who want to invest in F&B. So do you think, again, that is a segment that these investors could also explore?
So craft beer till date is not beer play, it's F&B play.
Okay.
It's about the experience.
Right.
People are coming into your pub for the experience. You cannot sell. I have been to breweries abroad, brew pubs, which give you bread for chakna. You can't do that in India. So unless you have your game right for the food, you can't. We Indians love to eat along what we love to drink. Right? So first of all, market that this is a F&B play. And that's where those numbers of a 33 billion, 4.5 billion get a little screwed up, because even today at Effingut at the pubs, 40% of our sale is craft, 20% is alcohol, and 40% is food.
Okay.
We can't take that food part away. We would love to reduce it, but we can't do it. So those numbers, very difficult to predict. The growth of the craft beer, 120%. I have got my life invested in it, because I'm a believer of this number, because I believe in the product. So for sure, the growth is there. States have started understanding that this is a good product to back, like Maharashtra has given us a permission to bottle.
Okay.
Goa has given us a permission to bottle. West Bengal has given us a permission to bottle. Many other states are understanding it and now part of it. And that will help the growth come in. Eventually, the way this is going to move is exactly Effingut's journey. Brew pubs will give way to tap rooms, will give way to bistros, will then open up growler stroke canning solution. And I believe, because I have invested my hard-earned money and my time into this business, because I'm a very, very, very firm believer that eventually in 10 years, third of all beer sold, 30% will be craft, whether it's through the brew pub channel or it's the drink at home, off-drink channel.
Okay.
It's got a growth. So the investors should be looking, if they're interested in the alcohol segment and the F&B segment. I believe, because that's where I'm putting my life behind, it's a good mix to get yourself involved.
Got it. Okay. Also, because we mentioned about the challenges in the craft beer and shortcut, there's one big global chain that I loved. In fact, I loved it so much during COVID. They were issuing shares, which I bought.
Lovely.
Brewdog.
Of course, the moment you said it, I knew it.
So why it didn't work in India? What do you think?
Again, my thesis, and my friends at Brewdog, I'm sorry if I've got it wrong, but as I understand it, being in the same place, I got bitten by the bug of understanding how. No, I understood how to grow this business through Brewdog. At my brewing days at Sunderland, the 2.5 months, there was a pub in Newcastle that I would go to. So I have studied that journey with a microscope. And I always see, somebody asks me, you've created this journey? No, I've copied the journey. Not all businesses need innovation. You just can also copy, right? And I understood what there was. Very difficult to put a product on a shelf without brand recall. How are you going to create the brand recall in a restricted market where no advertising is allowed? How are you going to get a premium for it? You have to go through the 40,000 shops. You're going to lose money, burn money, eventually shut down or get acquired at peanuts. That's the journey. Brewdog had that journey, which brought in customers to them. So beautiful. It was crowdfunding that grew them. They released shares with benefits. I have studied the crowdfunding myself and been struck down because in India, crowdfunding is illegal. But I love it. I have 400,000 customers I know on a first name basis at Effingut. I have your telephone number and I can reach out to you. But I can't reach out to them for investment because of this one. So they did that. They had the pub journey and I said, I want that to come in. What did they do wrong, according to me? They took India as India, not India as 29 states. Huge mistake. Are you going to be importing your beers from UK in cold chain, paying the taxes, then shipping out to a pub? I think they opened in Amritsar, if I'm not wrong.
Did they? Oh, I'm only aware of the Bombay ones.
No, they had Bombay, they had Gurgaon, They had Amritsar, they were opening Chandigarh.
Okay.
And again, respect to the brand and respect to the India franchise. But they didn't solve for their beer. That's your backbone. India has 29 states, 29 policies. Label registration of beers in a state like Delhi is 15 lakh rupees a label a year.
Wow. So if you bring 6, that's 90, almost a crore every year that you're just for label registration. And for you to make money over that 1 crore, like, that maths wouldn't fit,
Impossible.
Yeah.
Impossible. You haven't sorted for your brewing, your beer, your this one. Again, it's my understanding, I could be wrong, but I would never make that mistake in my life. I make a business plan, I first go to the excise and say, knock, knock, tell me what I can do. Tell me what I can't do. So for me, that area, the reason I went to Calcutta, everybody questions my choice to go to Calcutta. Calcutta has got the best microbrewery policy in India.
Okay.
Very bad execution of it, but the best written policy.
Okay.
Study the policy of every state, study the policy of everything. Where are you brewing for? Do you want a brew pub in place? Do you want a manufacturing facility in place? Do you want a central thing? Are you allowed to keg? Are you allowed to export? Can Maharashtra send to Karnataka or Hyderabad? You can't. Karnataka said no kegs. So even while I'm setting up the brewery in Pune, I can't set up pubs there because I can't send out in kegs. It says no.
So this is something that Brewdog didn't.
That's the base mistake there is of that. Solve for your star hero before you put it. And maybe they did. Maybe whatever happened, I can't say because that's their business that they're running. But I believe the way that they were, and that's my belief, very limited knowledge and understanding. I can't say limited, I think I know how India works. How are you going to solve for your brewing part? You can't import a product from UK in cold chain and then pay the taxes, then pay the excise duty, then pay the label registration and put it on tap.
Fair. Okay.
For that volume, you can do it for millions of liters. Maybe they had a long-term plan that that's how they will do it. They will take a registration, that they will bring it into the pub, exactly what we do. आज pub है, experience ले लो, बाद में cans आ जाएंगे, बाद में bottles आ जाएंगी, वो on shelf available हो जाएगा. Maybe that was their GTM, but maybe while they were moving, they had headwinds which they can't break. But for me, it's a very difficult problem to solve.
Got it. Okay. Also on that, like I had another follow-up question because let's say if I am having a Brewdog beer in UK versus having in India, it didn't taste the same.
Yes.
A Heineken in Amsterdam versus Heineken here doesn't taste the same. Guinness, same can poured somewhere else. I'm not even talking about being poured from the draft. You know, it just tastes very different. Why do you, I mean, where does that difference in flavor come from when it's made by the same company? I'm pretty sure these organizations are so big that, you know, all the processes are like followed to the T.
I have tremendous respect for commercial brewers.
But why does the flavor...
Guinness, I was 10 days in Ireland. I drove the whole country. I had Guinness and Murphy's for breakfast, lunch and dinner and evening snack and midnight snack. There's a part which says that this pub has the best Guinness pour. And me as a brewer could pick up this to that, to that, to that, to that, to this. And the only thing that changes. So the beer, the moment it comes, and it's for Effingut too. You'll come last week and you'll come this week, and if you can pick it up and you'll say there's a difference.
Okay.
From the same brewery, from the same tap behind you. Beer's life starts deteriorating the moment it has left the bright beer tank.
Okay.
Age of the beer, packaging condition of the beer, transportation of the beer, whether it's been through a heat chain, it's been through a cold chain, changes the flavor profile. I said at the beginning of the podcast, I said, beer will not make you sick, but the beer taste will change. It's a graph that starts heading downwards for all beers based on what temperature they're stored in, how much heat exposure that they've gotten, at the time of packaging, how much dissolved oxygen has been picked up. If it's staying in a can for a very long time, it's gonna bound to pick up the metallic flavors.
Okay.
So to say that this beer is gonna be great, no. That's the only reason that you put an expiry date on the beer is because it's not gonna make you sick after you consume it. Okay. It's just not gonna taste right.
Got it. So it's basically the supply chain. Like when it comes from, let's say, Scotland or Europe, it's the amount of time, and it's like lying at the customs clearance, excise clearance for months, and then
I have seen so there are these states that distribute themselves, and we were hoping for a distribution for a state to open up. Not going to name it, and I fainted. The temperature outside was 40 degrees. Inside the shed may have been 55 degrees. It was hot. Wow. It was humid. It was filthy. And there were these beer cases that were stacked one on top of the other. And of course, that's the consumption, right? Millions of cases.
Yeah.
Oh God, I wanted to faint. And I thought that if I'm going to send my craft beer to that, I am going to die. So from my business plan that I'm making to take this up to 250 crores, I scratched that state out. Wow. I can't go there. I can't go there. So to answer your question in a nutshell, it's the supply chain that ruins the beer.
Okay.
How well that beer has traveled to come out of. Not only that, on our taps, right? So the hygiene of the taps. This is gonna pull in it get infected, right? Yeah. A guy who's not cleaned his beer taps now for a week, that beer's gonna taste different. So you see the Delhi pub, we've got a 23-meter supply line which brings up our storage is below and we come to the first stop. So it's 23 meters. Let's call it like 100 feet of length just for the heck of it. That beer 100 feet which I finished last night and which I'm pouring today, that 100 feet beer is dead. Wow. Pour it out, boys. Wow. Don't pour it. Because it's lost carbonation, it's lost temperature. Wow. The beer's changed. I'll give you one pint to the other pint, it tastes different. Wow. That's how.
That's one of the reasons why when you go to a lot of these breweries, when you ask for a beer, they just pour some out and then
sacrifice.
I see. Interesting.
Sacrifice.
Okay.
Sacrifice.
Okay. You mentioned about Guinness. I have a question. The Guinness cans that come, they have those ping pong balls inside. As a brewer, is there a science behind it, or is it
sure.
Or is it just a marketing thing?
No, it's not. Absolutely not. So nitrogen is what makes the stout texture smooth.
Okay.
Inherent carbon dioxide from the beers.
Yeah.
They discovered so many years ago that nitrogen will make you carbonation bite. Non-technical, but layman terms. When you drink a Pepsi, when you drink a flat Pepsi to a carbonated Pepsi, you know the difference?
You feel that on the zing on the tongue.
Carbonation bite.
Yeah, okay.
The bubble is sitting on your tongue and bursting. So it's sort of pinching you. That's a carbonation bite. Again, non-technical, nobody beat me down. This is a layman's term. Carbonation bite is stingy and crisp. Nitrogenation, so the bubbles are bigger comparatively. Of course, they're small, but they're bigger comparatively. Nitrogen gives you very small bubbles, and when they burst, they give you a creamy texture. So they've added nitrogen in their beers, stout. Already it's a robust beer, which is very flavorful, coming from malts. And then the nitrogenation gives you that smooth, silky texture when you're drinking it because it's a nitrogen, small bubbles that are busting. Nitrogen, the problem is, and even Effingut doesn't do on our growlers, we don't do stouts. Stouts are available only. It wants to run away the moment it can. Carbonation will stay around, but will also run away, but mostly will stay around. Nitrogen, tata.
Okay.
So if you put it in a growler also, by the time you put it, you're going to get a flat beer. Okay. So we don't do nitrogenated. That's why very difficult to carry the nitrogenated beer. Although there are many people who do a nitrogenated in a bottle, but it's still a shelf life problem.
Right. Okay.
You give it fresh, it's good. Guinness needs a long life. So the nitrogenation comes into that little ball that they put into the can. So because of the temperature, because of the pressure difference, it's a pressurized can. The moment you open it, this ball is bursting and releasing the nitrogen in the beer.
Oh, interesting.
So that's the scientific reason behind that ball. I can't remember what it's called, but that's why it's called. And therefore, not many breweries will do a nitrogenated beer in a bottle.
Okay.
They do it, like I said, but it's a shelf life problem.
So stouts have nitrogen. That's
not true. Not all stouts have nitrogen, and stouts are mostly nitrogen.
Nitrogen. So then, I have seen now at some breweries, nitro stout.
Yeah, that's exactly.
The stout with just
nitrogen.
So they can actually
Guinness,
call it stout as well.
That's right.
Okay.
You want to know the story of stout?
Sure, please.
How long is this podcast going to go for?
It's okay. Cut it out. We'll happy always to learn new things.
Brewers in the UK like caramelization of their malt. But because of the old system, caramelization, basically it's toasting the malt, finished malt, toast it, it's going to give you caramel flavors. You push it a little more, it's going to give you darker colors and flavors. And if it gets burnt, it's going to give you burnt toasty flavors, as we call it. They would discard the highly toasted malt, the UK brewers, because it was no good for them. It was going to give you a lot of toasty flavor. They wanted caramel flavor. So the cheaper section, the potters who worked on the docks of UK, which was bustling of those times, and there was a lot of ships coming in and going out, mostly from India, would take that and would make beer out of that. So they would they were okay drinking a dark one because they were getting malt cheap. So they started calling it porter ale.
Okay.
Even in UK today, you have porter houses. You have ale houses, you have porter houses.
Okay.
So porter came into that style.
Okay.
So that then further, Irish, Mr. Guinness, then developed further into a stout beer because this was a robust porter that then he added more toastiness into it, more burnt barley into it. So it became like a stout porter. So that's how the name stout came in.
I see.
And stout, for many years, even with the Guinness, was on carbonation. Nitrogenation is like a 60, 70-year-old phenomena.
Okay.
I forget how old, but nitrogenation is comparatively new. So that's the moving from porter to stout to nitrogenation.
Okay. Interesting. Do you see craft beer being sidelined as less glamorous, or is it like, or does it give craft beer an opportunity to shine on its own, or be a part of bigger experimentation that is happening with the drinking culture?
So I don't see them as a competing category. Cocktail is something that you're going to put your love into and your craft at the final moment of drinking. Not fighting the canned cocktails that come up, but it's a creativity and theatrics at the final stretch of it. Beer's got its own segment, right? Beer is something that you can crack open while two friends are sitting and chatting, while I'm watching a cricket match. That flavorful product in craft is originating from the brewery. You don't need a last-minute touch-up to it or theatrics to it. It's an easy drinking part. It is the most, I think, third most popular beverage. Yeah.
After water and tea.
After water and tea. And that's it. That's the ease of the beer, right? So I can't really say it's a competing product. I would say it's a complementing product.
Right. Okay.
Because if there's a creativity of a great bartender, right, or how they call
mixologist.
Mixologist. Sorry, my bad. Not demeaning. But if that creativity wants to come to us, we'd love to do that. We did with Greater Than. We did a collab. We made a Greater Than seltzer with them.
Okay.
taking the base ingredients, juniper, their other botanicals, and we made a seltzer out of it. And did really well because the people who were consuming it were saying, oh, okay, now it's a GNT in a packaged format already, although it was not packaged, it was on tap.
Yeah.
But that's opening up a lot of collaboration. So if a mixologist is going to come and say, these are the ingredients that I want to play with, these are the botanicals that I want to play with, I would love to work with him and try and create a beer out of that, which is a ready to crack open and consume product. It's easier drinking and more consumer friendly than a cocktail. And so in those bases, I don't find them a competing product.
Okay.
Complementary.
So beer is sensitive. Like, okay, that question I'll come to later. Now, we're seeing, like, the first Effingut beer that I had was a rye beer way back in December 2020.
Yes.
And now, obviously, like, there's a lot of experimentation happening globally with different types of grains.
Yes.
Also, India has its own millets.
Yes.
So what is your take on, let's say, using millets? Because millets is now, like, almost omnipresent. Every other grain that you consume has been sort of substituted, or in some form or fashion there is a millet that has come in, or a millet substitute for that product has come in, right? So have you done any experimentation with millet? How easy or difficult is it to work with?
The short answer is very difficult to work with. It does not have, to use 100% millet without really artificial enzymes is impossible to work on. Similarly for rice and similarly for other products, you need the enzymes that help in fermentation, again going non-technical, which come in barley malt.
Okay.
So even if you're doing a wheat beer, we can't do 100% wheat beer.
So globally there is no wheat beer that is 100% wheat beer?
Unless and until you've added artificial enzymes or taken these natural enzymes and added on to them. I can't say if there are or there aren't, but technically as a craft brewer, impossible to make. Okay. Similarly in millet, 100% millet beer. There is sorghum beer, which is a millet which comes in South Africa, which I've experienced. It comes in a little milk Tetra pack, is made at home locally. Okay. But it's more like a porridge that you're drinking. It's like a milky substance. Okay. And because of the sugar presence in it, it ferments into a 3%, 4%. Okay. It's like a live beer. On the day one, it's just milk. The kids can have it. On day 4, you can have it. So, but the natural part of millet is very difficult to do. So, infusion of millets in barley malt is being done in India. Lots of breweries are doing it. Pune-based brewery is doing it. Hats off to them. They shared what their findings were to all brewers who took it up. So, experimentation will never stop. Okay. Millet is a need that we want to do. It is a local product. That's our traditional grain. We should be doing it. Then the flavor, you're teaching too many things in craft, right? Got it. And I'm saying, where are you stopping? Hats off to the people who are doing it. 64% alcohol beer, why? Oyster in your beer.
Oyster.
Okay, I'll live with it. Other products in your beer, how much are you going to push it? So at Effingut, we believe, and I was telling you this earlier, and don't strike me down for it, but we believe that we are a bridge to craft. There is a whole world that drinks the green bottle macro. We want you to experiment and experience what a craft beer is. So we will let you experience with our entry-level beers, sweet and wheat. But we'll have the whole range, right? We'll have the IPAs on tap too. We'll have a stout on tap too. But we have the first commercial production of mead ever done in India was me. When I came back from the UK. At least as far as I know. Right, commercial. Home brewers would have been there. But on tap mead, first one came to me. I could be wrong. Could not be, I'm not sure. But now there's an industry behind mead, right? And hats off to those guys who've taken this. And
again, Pune, right?
Pune. And a bunch of boys who are trying to create this one. Swimming against the river, creating a new category, very tough, need lots of money, need lots of push.
And awareness also. I think creating a new category, it's
in alcohol is a very challenging setup. So you can't really advertise. So where are you going to speak? your channels are licensed channels. So you come to a pub or you go to an off-trade. The off-trade is happy selling the established brands at a low percent margin. The moment you come in, he finds you as a bakra. He wants to cut your throat and says, now give me shelf space money. I will keep your product provided you give me free. I will pay you when I feel like it. आप रख जाओ, बिकेगा तो दे देंगे. Returns. How is that customer going to get experience? Lots of money. And then you're creating that millet part of it, which is again well done. How complicated do you want to make it? Craft beer right now in India, we're at the nascent stages. Let the people experience the easy drinking ones and then move the chain up to oyster infused beer.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the part that we found.
Understood. Now, also, today the Gen Z is sort of being seen as a sober, curious generation. So, do you think they are rejecting alcohol, or they are sort of looking at a different way of consuming alcohol, like, and or like they're redefining how they want to consume alcohol? So, where do you think the craft beer or the experimental beer fits in a Gen Z scheme of things?
So, you're aware that I just brewed a beer at J.D. Wetherspoon, right?
Yes.
Which I'd love to talk about.
Yes, we will. Yeah.
So I had with me an American colleague, Adam Beauchamp, if I've got that name right, from Creature's Comfort Brewing. He had also brewed a beer, and we hit it off really well, because I'm learning to do commercial brewing now with, I mean, I can't say commercial, but commercial craft brewing now. So he was like a friend and a guide, and we chatted and we spoke. So he had a very different read about the Gen Z. He's also splitting up that Gen Z, and this is actually him telling me, I haven't experienced it, but this was presented in the Brewers Association of America that just happened over the last week, 10 days, which I believe would be right if it did, or if it's flown through wrongly. Apologies for that. He said the Gen Z is also split up into two areas. Ones who grew up during the pandemic and ones who have experienced life before the pandemic. The ones who have experienced life before the pandemic, and very interesting take on that one, are the sober curious.
Okay.
They've experienced their life. The kids who got stuck while in their growing up in their experiment phases during the pandemic at home are now willing to experiment.
Okay.
So even the Gen Z there is getting chopped into two pandemic grown findings and hearings from brewers, conclave in the Americas. Could be wrong. Heard this, presenting it. So I find that very interesting, that how everything and everybody is going to a different setup. I have a different take on the craft beer scene, and very specific to India, not the world. We have a lot of experimentation still left. We are just at the tip of the iceberg of craft beer. Many people ask me why you're not doing NAB, which is a growing segment, and I agree with it, it's a growing segment. I said India is still to discover craft beer and then move on to that level. There is a level that's moving, Gen Z's drinking lesser, but the one line that I say today across India consumption is, we are drinking lesser, but we are drinking better.
Okay.
So for me, for the craft beer, which I believe is a 0.5%, 1% or 2%, whatever, we don't know the numbers yet, we've got up to 30% of that thing to still grow into, right?
Right, okay.
So we've got a huge journey, whether the Gen Z isn't drinking much.
Right, but still,
I still have the other generations that are still wanting to try.
Yeah, fair.
That's where I put my craft beer business into.
Okay.
There may be a section that's drinking lesser, but the overarching thought is that India is drinking lesser, but drinking better.
Okay.
Drinking better.
Now, why don't you tell us about the J.D. Wetherspoon
J.D. Wetherspoon Fest. So I believe that's it's literally the highlight of my life, not my career.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Super proud. My roots are English brewing. I learned which is the easiest form of brewing. The way I learned to brew at Brew Labs was we brewed in little vessels, used hot water only for temperature controlled, put it in a bucket and kept it there because the weather's just right, and it fermented to beer. Then I interned in these 100-year-old breweries or whatever, and I learned to brew craft beer. I learned to brew ales the way I did. So J.D. Wetherspoon is a pub chain in the UK which has 900 plus pubs. A very, very... J.D. Wetherspoon is in every nook and corner that you get. Multiple J.D. Wetherspoon. They're known for the cask ales that they serve you, traditional English ales on the pump that they go. So this time around, they reached out to us finding an Indian brewer because that's what they do. They have a cask ale festival every year or twice a year, but I believe it's every year. And they reach out to brewers with a claim to provide something to the British audience, the UK audience, for something different than the normal cask ales. The rider is that it has to be a cask ale, and the rider is that it has to have local ingredients. So this time around, they looked proud to say they found me, and they invited me over to UK to brew a beer with their partner breweries. They literally flew me in. They were great hosts. We had a lot of interaction. What sort of a beer I want to brew. Their requirement was classic English ale on the cask with an Indian story. So they chose me as a representation. They chose a beer that I said it was a traditional golden English ale with an Indian twist with a little spices into it. So we added dhania seed into it. We added green cardamom and lemongrass. Not overly powering, but very subtle. And it was just a beautiful thing. They got me over. I went to this 176-year-old traditional English brewery, 5th generation owner, James, you're a rock star, who led Andy and the team. We brewed with them in this 178-year-old brewery in the traditional beer. I made more beer as one batch than I did all together in all my breweries last year. And it was a beautiful experience brewing in the traditional English way. It has now gone on tap today, 1st of October, so yesterday. It's gone on tap across 900 plus UK pubs.
And it carries your name or?
It carries Effingut. First of all, it carries, maybe you can put this on the one of your, this one. First of all, it carries the India flag. Below that, it carries, and look at the pride on my face, it carries our Effingut logo, Mr. Borrell von Beerstein, he has a name. And below that, it carries Manu Gulati. So a super proud moment for me, 100%, Effingut 1000%. But craft beer in India now coming of age, that a global platform believes and is willing to punt a beer across 900 plus pubs across the UK, including Ireland, Scotland, everywhere.
And they know their beers.
Hey, they know their beers. So the first reports coming in is just everybody's enjoying it. So they put up posters just after I brewed. For a month, they had it up, saying that this festival is coming up with our beer. All the friends and all the consumers of Effingut have been sending me photographs with that poster. Since yesterday, photographs with the pump clip. And the beer pouring is coming in. We've also made the same beer available across all our Effingut outlets.
Under the same, what is it
Under
called?
the same, it's a golden ale. It's called a golden ale.
We shall.
Easy drinking, but it has the Indian twist with mildly spiced Indian.
For all the people in Pune, Bombay, Delhi and Gurgaon.
And Delhi.
Must try.
Yes. So quite proud of that.
Yeah,
and,
I can see it on your face.
I'm telling you, I started by saying that it's the highlight of my life, not my career.
Interesting.
It's my life.
I can imagine. So also now as you know, Jam Club as a platform is all about whiskey. And you mentioned earlier you like your whiskeys.
Oh, yes.
And Scottish have this thing called Hoff and Hoff, where they have a sip of whiskey and they have a beer and a sip of whiskey. They pair the whiskey technically. So let's say if you were to choose 5 whiskeys, classics, could be anything, and to pair with 5 styles of beer, can you think? I mean, can any?
Yeah,
selection?
so let's go with the Irish, right? Let's get that easy part done,
Okay.
right? A great Bushmill paired with a lovely stout, right?
Okay.
So that's the easier part that I would do. I would do a Pilsner Urquell, which I believe is the world's best beer. Clean, crisp, hoppy, malty. I'd put that with the easy drinking Glenlivet. I'd put a Glenlivet there. I'd add a Rauch beer, which has already got a lot of smoky and peaty, and I would bring in one of these Lagavulins, probably Lagavulin 16s or Smokehead or Lafroig with one of these ones is what I would love to add that one. I'd do a Asahi, which is a Japanese rice lager with a Hibiki.
Okay.
I love Hibiki, right? Although it's a blended Scotch,
Right.
I would do that.
Blended whiskey.
My blended whiskey. So I would do that any day. It's nice, chocolatey with this one. The crispness of the Asahi will actually pair this one. I think we got that.
And for
covered.
Black Label, since you started with Black Label,
Oh, yum.
the
Black
Punjabi,
Label, I would drink with the Black Label on the rocks with that much water, full stop.
Okay, got it. Okay, perfect. Cool. And so, which is the strongest Effingut that you have brewed in terms of ABV?
So every year, I experienced this one beer in Belgium. So Belgium is the mecca of craft brewing.
Right. Yeah,
That's what they've done
of course.
traditionally.
Yeah.
And I've been really lucky that I've actually interned at a Lambic brewery called Cantillon.
Okay.
They gave me a one-day internship. I had to beg and blah, but I got to make a Lambic beer on a cool ship. The spontaneous fermentation, they just put it on a tray, leave it to the gods. The yeast and the bacteria in the air actually ferments that beer, which they age. One of the must-have beers of the world, a Lambic style. So one of our travels, I experienced a beer called Bink's Blossom.
Okay.
And that Bink's Blossom was when I discovered, and I called it Christmas in your mouth.
Okay.
And when I studied, that was a hybrid. It was a mead and a beer put together. It's called a braggot style. And for the last 10 years, we do a braggot on tap at all the Effinguts. It's Christmas beer.
Okay.
It comes, people wait for it. We make a beer with a lot of hops. We let it ferment. We add honey into it. We let it ferment. We add more honey into it. We let it ferment. And then at a point, the yeast gives up and says, I'm drowned in my own alcohol. We do a legal around 8% with a big smiley on our face.
Okay.
But we don't know where it ends.
Okay. So 8% is the maximum. And the beer is the braggot style beer.
Braggot style.
How do you spell it?
Braggot.
Okay. So we shall check it out for Christmas
And
this year.
we call it the Hefty Braggot.
Okay.
Hefty Braggot.
Okay.
Hefty beer.
Okay. One beer for if you're going on a first date, which beer would you order?
If I'm trying to impress, so here's what Effingut is. Effingut is no gyan, right? We don't like to give gyan. Not counting this podcast, but we don't like to give gyan.
Yeah.
And definitely not on a date, right? So I'd be drinking what my date is drinking, which will be mostly an easy drinking one.
Okay.
Even if I'm drinking an IPA, which I would love to drink an IPA, I still won't give gyan about it.
Okay. So now, which beer for whatever your date prefers?
Easy drinking Hefeweizen would be. It's
Okay.
it's an easy drinking one that breaks the ice if it's a first date.
Got it. Okay. And if you're watching a World Cup final,
Ooh, depending on how
cricket final, let me put 7 hours, not football World Cup.
Dude, I want something strong there. I want to be drinking a Japanese rice lager or a boozy lager for sure. I want to be in all charged up there.
Okay. And a beer for a Monday morning at work.
Ooh, a nice English ale. 3.5%, 4% breakfast beer. Easy drinking, low carbonation. It's more like malty water. Give me an English ale anytime, any day, especially Monday morning breakfast.
Perfect. Thank you. That was, I think this has been one of the most insightful conversations, Manu. I think.
You think so?
I have learned a lot, and both of us know this could have gone for probably few more
Right,
hours.
yes, I know.
But I think we will do another one with you very soon.
I love
But
that.
this has been absolutely lovely, just like, knowing your story, how you're building the whole Effingut brand, the craft or the experimental beer space in India. I think it's quite inspirational, quite phenomenal. And for all our guests and viewers here, please do check out all the Effingut outlets. I mean, if you are around Bombay, Pune, Bombay, Pune, Delhi, Gurgaon, and I think they do growlers in Bombay, in Maharashtra, right? So you have access to a lot of stuff. I have tried some of their beers, and I'm actually loving. Which was the one beer that you made me try, which you are doing for the Oktoberfest right now?
The Rauk beer, the
Rauk.
smoky, the Rauk.
So I just tried the Rauk, and it's available at all the outlets.
All the outlets.
So, and it's a very limited edition. They're only doing it for the Oktoberfest, which just started this weekend.
Yes.
So please try it out. If you love smoky stuff, if you love stouts, you would absolutely love this beer. And for more such content, please like and subscribe to our channel. And for any suggestions, any feedback, please drop a comment. Until then, cheers. Let's raise a toast.
Yeah. And let me also finish with that. So you can add that in. So again.
Yeah. So yes, closing lines.
Thank you so much, Vinayak. This has been a pleasure, giving me the platform, and especially as yours, which I love what you guys do, spreading the love around and the history and the knowledge about alcohol. Drink lesser, but drink better.
Yeah.
And this has been amazing. I would love to do this anytime again. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank
Pleasure.
you.
Thank you.